So currently everything looks fine. It's currently the 24th of August. Everything is alright. We're in this corona crisis and it looks like the economy is getting back up and our politicians are doing everything they can to help us, right? Well, news flash for you. Welcome to the revolution. It's all starting here. Times are changing, you know? People are finding out information every day about dirty games the politicians are playing, the elites are playing, how our economic system is set up to fail, how banks can loan people money, have like 2 or 3% of the amount they are loaning to people in their banks, selling their accounts through the back door so other people can earn money from it. Did you know that banks can create $1 trillion in 1 minute just by pressing on one button? Or did you know that banks can just put a zero on your bank account and create money out of nothing? How's this fair? How can people compete to this? How can you and I compete to this? I don't think we can. So I think we're currently seeing a collapse of our global system. And we're seeing it crumble before our own eyes. And it's funny to see how it all is playing out so far, thus far. So what's the problem with banks? Banks are centralized authoritarian instances which govern everything around us. They have everything we put value on, money, in their hands. We are kind of a slave to the banking system, to the monetary system. We have to pay maybe 50% of our income to taxes, which goes to the banks, which goes to the politics, which gets spent on whatever, like a new highway or this or that, not ever creating something more valuable for us. So politics and the banking system are intertwined. They have been for a really, really long time, ever since the invention of banks came about. So banks were originally created for lending and creating money, for us to not have to share something, like to trade something. And this is good, right? We want this in our economy. We want this in our lives. We want to have something that really doesn't have value, but we can use it as a tool of value to trade or to get something. It's always a trade-off you make while using money. But now the banks have gotten so much power that they are able to control everything about us. The banks are the sole owners of the money, of our money. And this is a problem when politics are involved. When people become so wealthy that they can literally buy the world. That they just have to do this, pay somebody, and let them have their story to be told. And this is what has been happening to our politicians for a long time, with lobbyists, with non-governmental organizations, which are trying to undermine our laws and our system we've set up to our society for us to function, right? With all these big companies like Google, Amazon, which are over a 100 billion worth. It's so easy for a person to get manipulated because they see this sum of money and they are like, I can do the better for the people, or I can choose for myself and use all this money to do what I like. You see how this is a problem? With this easy manipulation of our politicians, of our people who are governing us, it's becoming really apparent that there's a lot more going underneath the surface. That there's a certain type or a group of people who wants power, who wants to take control over everything in our lives. They want to control everything in our lives. You can see how our freedom of speech is being taken away when we aren't complying to the main narrative. And that's when we get called a conspiracy theorist. They've created this word or this term, a conspiracy theorist, to not have to go into a discussion or debate, a rational debate, just with questions, right? Don't buy into whatever you're being told. Go ask questions for yourself. But when you start asking questions and you go deeper than what has been told to you or by the television, which tells lies to your vision, then you're made out as a conspiracy theorist, as somebody who is delusional, as somebody who is wrong. While I'm just asking questions. While we're all just asking questions, right? Or we should. We shouldn't buy into whatever whomever is telling. Never. Don't take advice from me. Don't take advice from your parents. Don't take advice from your government. Listen to what's here. And then ask the questions again. And see what resonates with you. So the highest bidder wins, right? When our politicians are corrupt, when conglomerates or big companies have earned so much money that they can literally buy the world, then we're really fucked. And this is exactly the type of situation we're in right now. It has gotten out of hand. It's gotten too big. And we are lost in the chaos of it. And that's why I'm saying that there's a revolution coming. People aren't buying it anymore. People are starting to ask the questions, to go further than what has been told to them. As Jim Morrison said in the 70s, whomever controls the media controls the mind. This has been a powerful statement lately, for me at least. To find out who has been controlling the media, who has been telling us what we have to believe. I found out that for America, the big America, there are 6 companies, 6 total companies, who are running 90% of the total media. 6 companies, 6 conglomerates owned by 15 billionaires. You see? There are 15 people in this world who control 90% of the media in America. I think that's a problem. If not, then what is a problem, right? For the Dutch people, as I'm a Dutchie myself, we shouldn't think that the Netherlands is any better. That there's no corruption here. That we are this clean, green, creative, inclusive country. That there's nothing wrong here. Well, if you look at our media, it's also controlled by 6 conglomerates. 6 businesses who control everything you see on the television. Everything. And then another problem is that Google, or I should say Alphabet, is globally capable of 90% of the total advertising around the world. Alphabet is the biggest media company in the world, and they control 90% of what you see in advertising all around the world. 90%. They can choose whatever you want to see, whatever they want you to see. You have no choice in that. Well, you do have a choice. Not to listen anymore, you know? To not buy into the main narrative, to not buy into that story again. To not let people tell you that you're a conspiracy theorist or that you're wrong, right? Just because you're asking more questions. Just because you ain't buying it. And I'm not buying it anymore. It's over. They're controlling us. And it's crumbling before our own eyes, their control. They are scared. That's why they are pushing COVID. That's why they lock the whole earth down. That's why they've got everybody wearing these face masks. If you realize that only villains wear masks, superheroes don't. They want you under their control. They want you to be fearful. They want you to be fearful so that they can manipulate you. Because people who are in fear are buying everything they are told. That's how fear works. They are creating this chaos to not know what's up or down. To control you. Because if you're in a state of chaos, everything they will tell to you, you will give into. That's how they've been working on us for my whole life, my parents' whole life, and I think even way longer than that. Way longer than that. But start asking the questions. Who is in power? Who has the money? Where's the money going to? Where's the money coming from? You see? It's not normal, this situation we're living in. We will never get back to what it was before. This is the new normal, they are telling us. The new normal is apparently a big brotherhood kind of state, like George Orwell told us. He warned us 50 years ago already, just like Aldous Huxley did. They warned us for this situation. And currently we're exactly experiencing whatever they were trying to tell us. And people are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize that that is not okay. This is not okay. This whole situation. Our economics, our politics system. It all needs to change. So then what's coming, right? It doesn't look like there's a revolution yet. The revolution is starting here. We have been in a psychological warfare for over 100 years. And even longer than that probably. But ever since the media was created, we have been enslaved by it. And they created the internet to create more of this enslavement. But joke's on them. It's working against them. It has given people way too much power. As the information is finally free, they can control whatever is on the internet. So go do your own research. Go find out what's real and what is happening. So I predict an economic collapse. I think the inflation will get really high, just like we have seen in the 1930s in, for example, Germany, when they were in such big debt that they had to constantly print money. I was telling about the $1 trillion they could print each minute. And this is going to create such a big catastrophic economic failure that millions and literally millions and maybe billions of people are going to lose their job. This is going to result into riots and protests because people ain't taking it no more. People are saying like, what the fuck are you doing, right? Why are you creating all this money? Why is it so that you have this power? And where's our power in this? Through these changes, through these riots, through these protests, new information will come up. New ways of living have to be created. A new way of our politics to be structured. If there's ever even going to be a need for politics anymore, at least in the way we know it now. Because we can't trust most of our politicians. They're just in there for power, for their own gain. Maybe not all. I think there are some good people in there, but they stand no fighting chance with all these wolves around them. So nobody can predict the future. So prepare yourself. Get knowledgeable. Know what the politicians are doing. Know what the economic system is doing. Know what's happening. Know what's coming. We can't predict it. But there's knowledge to find, which will give more insight into what's coming. I want to thank you for listening if you've made it this far. And I hope I'm really wrong, but I don't think I am. I think we're currently in the starting phase of a revolution of our society. And it's wonderful. We can create something new from here. We can create a new start, a new life. Not governed by money, not governed by all these people, but by taking our power back ourselves. The people, one by one, we need to do that. So I hope to see you next time, and have a good day and peace.